you're going to hire 20,000 people a year and you have 50 million people in your database. You just need to optimize your database. You need to update the skills. You need to get them matched to current roles, right? You need more information on people. Your network of employees. How many people inside the company might be looking to leave because they're tired or they're worn out? They don't like their manager. Why aren't we matching them to a different role, right? Proactively, right? It doesn't usually happen in companies. That turn's starting to happen. I think kind of validates what you're saying, where if you don't know what you have, you can't do anything with it. So what do? You're always going and looking for elsewhere. And I think I used this term when we briefly met yesterday. It's like making the invisible visible. That's what I see AI doing. It's like, oh, we didn't know we had 250 qualified women SaaS sales reps in our database. We didn't even know.
Yeah.
And we're spending money trying to go post ads, and a sourcer's whole job is to go find diverse sales reps. But we had 250 in our database. Well, that was invisible to the recruiters.
Yeah.
Now with AI, I can extract that, update and refresh their profiles, and match them to current jobs.
You think that incentives need to change in the way, like, this is the way I'm getting measured. I'm measured on, throughput. I'm measured on, some, traditional metric, and that's why people, they're just not incentivized to take a sort of systems thinking approach to where I might find talent. Like, your goal should be to fill that job with the most qualified person as quickly as possible, not I'm only incentivized to go in this one, direction or whatever. Because I've experienced the same thing that you're describing when I was at NBC Universal. They made me go through vendor management and through a bunch of staffing agencies to find a principal, engineer. And it's like, wait a minute, we've got dozens of engineering teams across this, Comcast family of companies. You're telling me that there's not an existing principal engineer or a senior engineer who's ready, who's not already getting poached by other media companies or whatever. So let's just go and look internally, just because I know you don't have money for a full-time person. That's why you asked me to go and get a contractor,
right?
Because the accounting will say that's okay, I can spend as much as I want on a contractor. I just can't spend a dime on a full-time
They don't want the long-term
hire. But
costs.
What if you just did a transfer? So I think some of it is around metrics, and then maybe even culture. Maybe this goes into one of the challenges with implementing an internal talent marketplace is talent hoarding, and I've got short-term commitments and I can't do it if my guys are constantly looking for what's next, and these other sort of pseudo-legitimate excuses.
I know. These are all big issues. I think you're right. It's where to start with that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, culturally, for one, I think sometimes there's only so much the talent team can do. I mean, I think we should be doing all of these things and looking holistically. Right? I think holding companies, private equity firms, we have a couple clients, and you own all these companies. My take would be no one ever leaves the PE portfolio, right? Hey, you did 5 years at this company, you were looking for a change, great. We got 10 other companies, go work for them, right? It should be a lot easier instead of they all tend to operate independently, to your point. We're going to build our own budget with our own tools. I don't get it, right? There's such a better way to do it. But culturally, I think companies still have to kind of get on board and come around to the fact that it's never my talent, it's our talent.
Yeah.
Because when it's my talent, right, it's so limiting from the perspective of, if you study attrition data, it's almost always consistent. The top 3 reasons people leave: they feel like they're not growing in their career, they don't like their manager, right? So this is almost consistent everywhere you look, or they want to make more money. Okay, the first 2 are always solvable. The third can be, right? It just depends on your compensation practices. But I've seen it at places I've worked where people do have that mindset, unfortunately, of I hired that person, they're on my team. Well, they're getting recruited from other companies all the time. So if we just flip their mindset and we embraced mobility, you could put some guardrails in place. Hey, I need 15 months, out of somebody, because how much can you I don't think you want a complete free for all, right?
Yeah.
And people bidding up salaries. Come to my team, I'll give you a raise, right?
Yeah.
That's a little too far, I think, but I don't understand not focusing on it. And I know a lot of so because Findem has the technology to identify all the people in your company and update their profile, whether they just started there last week or if they started there 4 years ago and it's updated elsewhere, we'll pull it in. So you can look at your whole. So one of the questions I have our team ask now, though, when we go to implement is, what is your internal mobility policy? And I'd say 90% of the time, it's hands off. We're not allowed to recruit. The internal employee has to decide to apply, right? And that to me is that's backwards thinking, right? If it was a culture of, hey, we want to promote growth and we want to give you more opportunities because we want you to grow a career here for 10 to 15 years, and we know you're going to get recruited elsewhere. And by the way, we also know, because you can get this information anywhere now, like the average person stays like 2.5 years in tech.
Yeah.
Okay, how come at 18 months we're not proactively helping them find new roles? So like you talk about, like, I think it would be nice to see more teams have an internal mobility recruiting function, because like I guess you step back and look at all these things we're talking about. I think recruiting can play such a bigger role in helping to drive and optimize talent across the company, right? Not just fill open recs, but partner with L&D. Look at all the skills in the company. What are we deficient of? If we don't have to go hire, go build some programs and put people through that, right? We're growing the talent, right? We're putting them into other parts of the business.
Yeah.
Go work with talent management, and let's look at all the people, who we have that might be ready now for promotion. Let's make sure they're always getting interviewed for the next time. I don't see a lot of teams doing those things.
Yeah.
But I think it is our responsibility. And again, like, it always comes back to, like, there are tools out there now. Findem just happens to be one, but like, you can get all this information now. But it's again, like, that's not going to make you strategic, right?
Yeah.
So if you're thinking this way and then you marry that with the right technology, it can be super powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.